Good afternoon. Welcome to Who's Tom and Dick? With your hosts, Martin Weavers and Patrick Mortimer. Good morning, Martin. How are you?
Good morning, Patrick. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Good, you're looking good. Well, you're in the right place today, aren't you? Because I'm surrounded by wigs. Mind you could say the same about me.
Well, that is true. Yeah, we're at Steve and John Hairdressers in Berwick and Edmonds, and we're here with the My Wish people, and Tesco's are here.
Yeah, and it's a day that he runs every Monday. For ladies with cancer. Well, it's not just ladies. Men are invited, but it's predominantly ladies.
We're the only men here.
Well, yes.
Apart from Stephen, of course, as well. But it's packed of women, and they're all having all their wigs done, aren't they? And all things. It's amazing as you walk around looking at what's going on.
Whole idea of the thing is so ladies can be pampered and meet each other in a similar situation. They get their nails done, massages, hair done, all those sort of things, beauty treatment. And as you can hear probably in the background...
Is it for men as well, you say?
Well,
there you go, Patrick. Beauty treatment.
Well, we are actually in the beauty room.
We are.
I don't think they can do a lot for me, and I don't think there's any hope for you. So, it's something that Steve started
in honour of his mum.
12 years ago.
Yeah, in honour of his mum.
Well, he started it before he lost his mum.
Yeah.
He was telling us.
Well, he'll tell us the story about all that later, won't he?
And ladies meet up and discuss various things. It's like a coffee morning, really. The atmosphere out there is electric.
So we hope to get to talk to the lady from Tesco's and the lady from My Wish, who organises it all, with Steve, of course. And we hope to get the man himself as well.
Yep, along with a few of the ladies as well.
Yeah.
Would be nice. So shall we get on with that?
Yeah, let's get on with it.
Excellent. Hi, Julie. Welcome to Who's Tom and Dick. This is my colleague, Martin. We're here today really to interview a few guys to see how they're dealing with their illnesses and one thing and another. And you're here on behalf of Tesco's, I believe.
I am. My job role at Tesco's is the community champion.
Yes.
So Tesco allow me to support local charities and local groups by either volunteering my time. So I'm here volunteering this morning, helping the ladies with beverages and things. And then I bring along lots of drinks and snacks.
And chocolates.
Chocolates.
They were
chocolates
lovely,
today. Yeah. So, it's one of my favourite things to do.
How long have you been involved doing this?
So I've been helping Steve with Mama Bees from the beginning. We donated lots of goodies right at the start. And then if my schedule's free, I try and come every month and stay for the morning.
So Tesco's supports this organisation?
It does, yeah. So as a store or as a company, you'll find that most big stores have a community champion, one of me, and it's just about us getting involved in where we are, where the store is in our local community, just doing what we can.
Right.
So do you actually work in the store for Tesco's?
I work in the store and then I'm allowed to come out.
And then you're allowed to...
They allow me out every now and again.
That's really nice of Tesco's to do that.
It's a brilliant job.
They get free advertising with us all over the world now.
Yeah,
but it's just about looking after people.
So what other things do Tesco cover?
So again, I go out once a month and volunteer at our local homeless charity. So we provide hot meals there and I spend most of my morning washing up.
Right.
We give out raffle prizes, tombola prizes. We support anyone that writes in and says, "Can we have a raffle prize?" Mm-hmm. Nearly always we say yes.
All right.
And are you busy at a certain point of the year, like now, or is
very busy at the moment?
Is it
very
always
busy at Christmas?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But pretty steady actually throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
So when you support the homeless side of things, charities, what do you exactly do? Do you provide food and...
So as a charity, they're funded quite well. They do lots of fundraising. So they tend to buy in all their own food.
Yeah.
If I've got surplus stuff, I take that in. So last time I was there, I took in lots of pickled onion and beetroot, and some of the homeless guys came up and were like, wow, I haven't had beetroot for a long time.
All right.
You know, just because they're homeless doesn't mean to say they can't have treats like the rest of us.
So are you the regular face that they all get to know?
I go once a month if I can. Yeah. They have lots and lots of regular volunteers.
Yeah.
And I'll either go as a befriender, just sit and chat with them, or most recently I've been in the kitchen, like I say, helping to serve the dinners and wash up.
So today here, I mean, obviously we've got a lot of ladies. We haven't got any gentlemen, have we?
No gentlemen have come through the doors just yet, but that's not to say they're not allowed.
But a lot of the ladies are quite new to coming up here, aren't they?
Yeah, it's very daunting. No, I think coming here, I love coming here. It's thankfully, myself, I've never had to go through any kind of treatment, and I haven't had any close family members either, thankfully. But what I've noticed is it's really safe space here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really safe space. The ladies come here, those that come for the first time look absolutely petrified. And by the end, I don't think they actually want to go home.
No.
They've had a bit of lunch, they've had a bit of cake, they've had a posh coffee, and they're chatting to other ladies about their treatment. They're sharing stories about their wigs, hair loss or not hair loss, and comparing nails. And it's just...
But that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what it's all about,
well, I think when you get a diagnosis yourself for the first time, you think you're the only one with this illness, don't you?
Yeah.
And when you actually come to somewhere like this, you realise that far from being the only one, there's loads of people in a similar situation. We talk about guys not talking about their illnesses, and this is a good example of no guys showing up here. You know, I know they've probably not got so much of a desire to have their nails done, but Martin lost his hair when he had his cancer.
Yeah.
So that was a consideration.
Absolutely. Well, your hair's your identity. I think, when you talk to people and you're describing someone, you often say, oh, so-and-so, you know her with the long blonde hair, or so-and-so's got the short brown bob.
Well, you can hear the noise next door. It sounds like a coffee morning in there rather than a meeting of people with that.
It was very quiet when we first came in, and we had the new ladies come in, and as you can probably hear in the background, they are the new ladies chatting away.
So Tesco's then, I've known of Tesco's for many years, but I've never heard of this service that they provide.
Yeah.
So how long have they been doing that?
Years.
Years.
Absolutely years. Yeah. And I think they're trying to make a bigger thing of it, because not everyone wants a big supermarket down the street from them.
No.
So it's our way of giving back. And all we ask is that people just know what we're doing. We're not saying you have to come and shop in Tesco's.
No.
It's very nice if you do. It's just about us giving back.
Yeah, it's great that you're putting something back into the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's useful to have that resource to tap into if you're a charity and need support. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in to speak to us and let us know what Tesco's involvement is with this. And it's nice that a big store like Tesco's is getting involved with.
Do you notice that the ladies next door are dealing with their cancers in different ways?
Completely.
Yeah.
Some come in here, I'll say fairly confidently, and others come with somebody, a bit of moral support.
Right.
But they all tend to leave.
Or more
stressed.
positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, so today we welcome Sharon and Anita.
We do.
Thanks for giving up a little bit of time and telling us about your situation, which is much appreciated, and hopefully some listeners will gain a lot of support from this. Sharon, perhaps you'd like to start by telling us, in your own words, what you've just gone through.
Okay, so in December 22, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was the HER2 positive type, and I'd never heard of this before. I didn't even realise there were lots and lots of different types at the time. All came as a bit of a shock. I'd actually had a mammogram not that long prior to this, and they hadn't picked anything up. But then it's a bit of a strange story as to how I found my lump, because I had my COVID booster jab around the November time in 22. And at that point, I always used to get the day after, your arm felt really heavy, and you'd get those kind of side effects from having the jab. So I was kind of having a feel around that kind of area. And that's when I came across my lump. And didn't really think, because I'd never felt anything like it before, I was like, I don't think that's anything really. But I was going the following week to my doctor's surgery for my flu jab. So I asked the nurse about it when I was there, and she said, right, go and get an appointment straight away. So I got to see a GP in about 2 days, and basically they referred me to the breast clinic. I then had a further mammogram and biopsies taken. And then in a very short space of time, I think it was less than 10 days, I got my diagnosis.
You said you had a mammogram that didn't show anything. So how long was it from the mammogram to the moment you felt the lump?
It was about 4 months.
4 months?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So my big thing that I've been saying to anyone and everyone that wants to listen since this has happened is definitely carry on going for your mammograms whenever you're called, but really need to still be checking yourself on a regular basis.
This is what we're doing this for. So you've experienced this. So you can tell people, you know,
helps others.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So basically, they looked back, obviously, in retrospect at the mammogram that I had done, and they said at that point there was something, probably no more than perhaps a shadow at the time. It wasn't a defined lump or anything at that point, but they could see when they looked back, in the knowledge that they'd found the actual cancer, they could then identify that actually there was a glimmer of something back.
Yeah. And it was just in one area, was it, of the breasts, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Left side.
Yeah.
Kind of to the left side of that one. So.
Yeah.
So what is the normal distance between a mammogram and another mammogram? I mean, do you have it every year or
No, it would have been another 3 years.
Wow.
3 years?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't realise they were that far in between.
The only time you start having them more frequently is if you have obviously been diagnosed, and then after you've come through that, you then have one every year.
Yeah, you can understand that.
So I've had another one
they should
since
be
then.
More than that, shouldn't they? You know, more regular, I mean.
I think it's like everything else. Obviously, the NHS are under pressure, and that is the standardised time. And it's from, I think you start having them when you're around 50. I think it probably varies from location to location, but it's around 50 when you start. So I'd probably had about 3 by the time I had that one.
So on that basis, you found out you'd got breast cancer. What was the next stage? What did they...
Okay, all happens very, very quickly because they're very targeted on the timelines for diagnosis with cancer. So soon as I got my results, they then, my process was I would have an operation. It was going to be a lumpectomy as opposed to a mastectomy. And I had my operation. So that was all in kind of beginning of December, I would say, in 22. I got my results. I had my operation on the 30th of December.
Right.
So it was very, very quick.
Yeah.
From that point, I had the operation. Then you have to kind of recover from the operation before you can start having your chemo. So it was around February when I started my chemo.
Yeah.
And then once my chemo was over, which was about 4 months, and then from the 4 months point, you then have to kind of recover from that a bit. And then you start your radio. And my radio had to be done at Addenbrooke's because there isn't that facility in West Suffolk. That I only had to have a week's worth of that, which was good.
Yeah.
But you go literally every day for a week to Addenbrooke's for that. So so once that was done, I was off work. Fortunately, my employers were very, very good, and allowed me to be off and just paid me as normal as if I was working.
Are you still off now?
No, I went back very shortly after I finished my radiotherapy, on a phased return. So I started off I was already part-time anyway, but I started doing fewer hours and then built it up.
And how's that been?
I think it was good to be back doing something.
Have you been tired though?
Extremely.
I get tired. I still get tired now.
Yes. Fatigue, tiredness, aching. And I've also, because I had to start taking a hormone tablet, which most of us have. Yeah. And it's known that it's a very common effect from that, that you get a lot of joint pain. And with the particular type of cancer that we have, it's basically it's hormone related, so they don't want you to have any estrogen in your body. So it's a bit like when people have gone through menopause, their estrogen levels are pretty non-existent, and that causes joint pain. Amazing. I had to have Herceptin injections every 3 weeks, and that started at the time I started my chemo, and then it continues all the way through up to a year. So
you do well to remember the name of all these.
Yes, they stick in your mind.
We did a podcast trying to remember the name of our medicines, and we had them written in front of us and couldn't remember them.
The Herceptin injections, everybody who's ever had them, they're not very pleasant, are they? No. It's not, when you say you're having an injection, people think that you're having something like your, COVID jab or whatever. It's just in and out. It's not. You have them. Well, I had mine alternate thighs.
But they do it very slowly.
Yes, so you're sitting there.
Lovely.
It's more like a big syringe, and you sit there for anything up to about 8 minutes, I think is the maximum.
But then you don't feel it.
It's been injected for 8 minutes?
Yeah.
God.
It's very, I think, scratchy is probably the best way to describe it. It's not a pleasant feeling at all.
I didn't have anything. I was really lucky.
Really?
And how often do you have this?
Every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks. Wow.
So the same kind of periods that you were having your chemo, you start off having it alongside your chemo, which is every 3 weeks, and then you continue to go back every 3 weeks for the year.
Yeah.
And yeah, literally, you just have to sit there, don't you? And
chat.
And, yes, that's right. I never used to like looking at it while I was having
it's really nice that you've come on here just to talk about it, because I like to talk about mine. And, well, I like to talk.
Me too. We do. Yes, we do.
But, I just think, if we can give just one little glimmer that we're helping somebody, with what we've spoken about, it just make my day if I knew. So how did you find out about this little?
I knew that this place existed anyway. And then I had the leaflet about it. And to begin with, I used the cold cap when I had my chemo done, which is the thing where you wear the cap to it's extremely cold. And it's in the hope that you might be able to preserve your hair. So I did that for the first 2 sessions of chemo. But shortly after the second one, my hair literally started coming out.
I could pull mine out
in clumps. Yes. It was massive quantity. That was
not that I had a lot, but
and so I rang here and booked an appointment to see Steve. So came and saw him. He did say actually that he wished that people were advised to come and see him sooner rather than later. But I think
before the treatment.
Everyone kind of I think grabs onto that. I might not lose my hair, so you want to do everything you can.
That's the most unlikely.
But virtually everybody does. It varies depending on the type of chemo I think that you have, what's in the mixture. But they saw Steve at the point that I looked and felt absolutely dreadful. But he's wonderful because he just knows exactly how to.
He's a nice guy.
How to help
amazing.
People.
Well, we found out by my wish, didn't we? We went and interviewed the ladies from there, and then they said, about this place.
Yes.
And I dropped in just to see him, and he was so welcoming. And I said to Pat, we'll come up. Well, he said, just come in. The ladies would love you, they say. He goes,
yes.
Exactly.
So hopefully you love us.
This is his space. Come and you're really worried about losing your hair. He has this gorgeous room here and he'll just sit you down and it's just you and him. Mind you, I did bring my husband with me. But it's just the two of you and he relaxes you so much and he explains things and he understands everything. And you're just in your own little place and if you want to have a good old cry, do it and he's there with you.
I have to explain we've got Anita in with us as well. And Anita's going to tell us all about her. No, you feel free to speak.
Just going on to the wigs. I mean, I haven't got any hair, hardly.
Really?
I have ran the size, but I cut it. But I just tried that wig on. I only had it on for about a minute or 2 minutes. And I thought, God, this is going to be hot wearing this all the time.
It is. I mean, basically, our hair is... I've got an awful lot of my own hair underneath here. The things, it's like we want to compile a list of things they don't tell you. You knew that you were going to lose your hair. I don't think I really realised that there was this chance. My hair is normally like this, dead straight.
Right.
When it started growing back, it is extremely curly.
Right.
Oh, really?
Massively curly.
Are you happy with that?
No. No, I hate it. I hate it. So because I want lots of the ladies have it's grown back and not everybody's grows back curly, but it grows back. And I think if mine had grown back straight, I would have just had a pixie cut and exposed it by now. But it's not. It's very, very curly. And I want mine to be a longer, this kind of length at least. How my hair was before. And I'd like to get back to that. And Steve said, you're just going to have to cope with it over this time. Because he said, it's not a case that you just cut all the curls off and that's it, they're gone. They will keep, it'll keep coming through. So he said, you need to leave it so the weight of your hair pulls it down. And eventually, so underneath here, I've got a lovely concoction of a hairnet and all these things
and curls
to kind of keep it down. Because my real hair is out here somewhere. I look a bit like a mad scientist. So yes, I will be wearing probably a wig for
you're looking good anyway.
Yeah.
So
I remember my poor old mum paying a fortune to have her hair curled in a perm.
Yes,
I did. I did back in the 80s. I had my hair permed.
Yeah,
remember I had long curly hair. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. I had an afro comb. So I used to flick it every morning.
Exactly. So we all wanted that, and then obviously that kind of went out of fashion. And my cousin, who's got wavy hair, spends all her time straightening hers. And I had dead straight hair, and she was always very jealous of that.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't be jealous of what's going on underneath here at the moment. But I just have to bide my time, basically. And like you say, particularly at this time, a day like today, it's like you're wearing a fur hat, basically, most of the time. And we've had the odd experiences, haven't we, with losing our wigs.
Well, let Anita take us back to the very beginning first, and how it all started for you.
Okay, so my journey started actually in August of 2022.
22?
My family were...
I was 22, you was 22?
They all 22, yes. My family were visiting, or some of them, because I have 3 sons and 10 grandchildren.
Wow.
I love them all to bits, but fortunately they don't all come together. But this was the middle 3 and the very lively teenagers. We were having a fantastic time, and I was in the shower and I found my lump. So I thought, okay, no, don't panic. I didn't even tell my husband. And I thought, right, let's carry on. As you do when you're a grandmother or a mother, you just carry on. I put it to the back of my mind. And then when they'd gone home, I thought, I've really got to do something about this. And I didn't. I left it a couple of weeks. And then I told my husband, and that was it, straight to the doctors. Only I had a problem with my throat at the time, so I was under the doctor. And when I arrived, someone else was in the room with the doctor, and I didn't know they were going to be there. So I still didn't tell her about my lump.
All right.
So I went home. My husband was really cross with me and made me go back the next day, even though you're supposed to have an appointment and all the rest of it. But no, we went back the next day. And the doctor said, yes, you need to go and have this looked at properly. So within a week, I was at the hospital, had a mammogram and everything else that goes with it and all the tests. But the thing about my lump was I could actually see it. It was on the surface. And I thought, so my idea was I'll keep my eye on it and see if it grows. No, definitely not. That's not what you need to do. Anyway, I explained all this to the nurses. They were absolutely brilliant at the hospital. So as I say, within a week, I was in the hospital, and then I'm sure it was only a couple of days later that I had the diagnosis. It wasn't a week. And I went to see the actual surgeon, and he said, okay, this is it. Go for it. I'm afraid you have cancer. And even though you expect it, and I was really ready to hear the news, I just broke down because it's still a shock.
Oh, yeah.
Even though you know that this is going to happen. And I'm quite a positive person, consider myself to be quite brave, really.
Yeah.
But it just knocked me for 6.
How did your husband take it as well?
He's wonderful. I'm so lucky to have him.
Yeah.
He's a man who never has the flu. So I'm really lucky.
Yeah.
No, he really is wonderful. He never makes a fuss about anything. And so he obviously was concerned and upset, but he said, okay, we're going to get through this together and we'll go down this road. And we did everything together.
That's the exact words you want to hear, isn't it?
Yes. You do need someone to support. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's your husband or your sister or a friend even. You need somebody, and you need to confide in them and tell them everything and how you're feeling.
It's not a thing you can do on your own. Some people would I think, try on their own.
Yes.
But it's not a thing you can do on your own.
Just to have a conversation with someone, even though they can't put it right. If you talk to them, it really helps you and makes you feel a little bit more, okay, I can talk to that person. Maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking. But anyway, so as I say, we went, I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed, and he told me I had cancer. But within 10 days, I was actually having my surgery. So I had my surgery on the 18th of December, me thinking, oh gosh, the family are coming for Christmas. Yeah. So anyway, the nurses were wonderful. In fact, I got on better chatting to the nurses than I actually did to the surgeon, but they were very understanding and very helpful. And they tell you all you need to know. The only problem is they they don't tell you too much. They give you all these pieces of paper with all these things, piles and piles of paper of what you're going to go through. Mm-hmm. And you think, oh gosh, I can't take all this in. But take your time and read it, because it really does help. Yeah. It really does help. But do it in your own time. And make sure you do it before you actually have the next stage of chemo or whatever. But anyway, so I had my surgery, and then as I came round, there was a lady standing by my bed who wasn't a nurse, and she gave me this most gorgeous heart-shaped cushion.
Yes.
Did you have one?
Exactly the same.
Oh, wow.
To begin with, I was like,
what's this
why
for?
are they giving me this?
Yeah.
But you work out, don't you, that it's really useful because of the heart shape of it. It's really useful. Kind of tough.
Oh, right.
I mean, I knew straight away. This is it. I know.
It makes all the difference. It makes it so much more comfortable.
It does.
There,
you need to work out where to put it yourself. But my first use of it was in the car. Oh, I saved the seatbelt touching me. Oh, that was absolutely marvellous. Yeah. And then, as I say, when you're in bed, you find which side, sometimes even the other side, I find if I rest my arm on it, it stops the pressure. And this is over a year later and I still use it.
Yeah, I do. Yes. I do, totally. I actually bought one for somebody else.
Actually, yes, I'm going to interrupt you because I've joined the group. Oh, did you? I'm making the cushions now. Because
that knitting group, is it?
Oh, no, that as well. I joined that too. No, there's some really good groups, actually. This cushion, as I'm going back to this cushion, it's all volunteers who make them. And then there's a little group get together and they stuff them and stitch them up and what have you. And then, but it's a gift to you. They give you this when you've come around, and everybody. And I had one lady at the group said, my friend's just going to have cancer. Will she get a cushion? And I said, yes, you're automatically given one free. You know, she couldn't believe it. And a free cushion. But that was wonderful. So then, my husband wasn't too keen on, because it was winter time, driving me home from my surgery. So our son came all the way from Hemel Hempstead in Hertfordshire just to take me home, which was lovely. And I thought, how am I going to get through this? What do I do next? You're told so many things. You have all these bits of paper to read through. Yeah. So you just need to stop and sort of collect your thoughts and think, okay, I'm going to do this. Just take it as it comes. You haven't got to do any housework. Right. You just need to think of you and get yourself through this. So my husband was, what do you want to eat? Nothing, because I really couldn't. The first night, no, I don't want anything. Just let me sleep. But I didn't, of course, because there's so much going on. But as time goes by, you think to yourself, okay, because as I say, I'm positive and I'm thinking, I've got to think of my family too. It's not just me. They were all concerned. Having so many phone calls, I really didn't want to speak to anybody, but I did because I needed to let them know that I was okay. Yeah. And they all supported us, of course, my husband and I. And then, as Sharon said, you wait a few weeks before you have your chemo. And I have to say the oncologist really had to fight with me because I didn't want chemo. Because I'm the other side of the 70, which I'm going to go back to. That's why I mentioned the name, the date. I'm the other side of it. And I'm thinking, I'm going to lose my hair. It's falling out anyway. Do I really want to lose my hair? She really did convince me. She said, I'm not telling you you've got to have it. I'm just advising you that it's best for you. So they work out what treatment is best for you.
We're all done individually, aren't we?
Yes, that's right. So chatting to my husband and the family, one son really didn't want me to have it, and all the others said, we want you to be here a bit longer, Mum, so please do it. Yeah. So anyway, we went down that road, and you can't paint over chemo. It's really, really not a nice experience.
No, it's not.
But you do have to keep positive and think, right, I'm going to get through this. I'm coming out the other side.
The only good thing I would say with chemo is it's short-lived.
Yes.
It's not very nice. You do get a lot of side effects. It's not pleasant at all. However, you're going to come to an end of it.
It will finish.
Yeah. You start, every course you start to get better, don't you? And then you have your next lot and then you start all over again. So it's a bit of a roller coaster.
Did you have planned sessions? Because I had 4 planned sessions when I had mine.
Yes, we had planned every 3 weeks.
Yes,
we had our
I did as well.
Yeah, that's right. So I have to digress a little and go back to the 70 bit. Yeah, because you mentioned having mammograms. Well, when you come to 70, they automatically stop giving you automatic mammograms. But you can request one.
Right.
God, I never knew that.
No. Yes, it's automatically stopped. So me being the other side, I wasn't having them a couple of years. But I had to have one, obviously, when I found my lump.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise that I could have requested it.
Right.
So I would have, and I say to anybody, request it. Yes. Yeah. Once you reach
100%.
70, ask, because you can have it, but you need to ask.
Have any of you ladies got breast cancer in the family?
I personally haven't.
My auntie, my dad's sister.
Right.
Yeah, I think she's the only one that I knew of. So certainly not my mum or my grandmother or anyone. No. So
yeah, actually, it's right, because I hadn't got anyone in the family. I mean, I've had a few relations that had cancers, but not the breast cancer. So my first question, that's another thing. When you're shocked and told that you have cancer, you can't think of all the questions you want to ask. But first thing I did say to the surgeon when I came to was actually, was it my fault? What have I done? Why have I got this? Why have I got cancer? Have I done something wrong?
I've asked that question.
And I was, not shouted at, but pounced on. Oh, most definitely not. It's not your fault. There's nothing you could have done about it, especially when it's hormonal.
Yeah, the nurse that I spoke to immediately after my diagnosis, one of the breast care nurses, I was talking to her along the same lines, and she said it's nothing that you have done. No. It is just one of those things. Statistically, they say 1 in 2 people, don't they, that are going to get something.
But it's funny you both said you're the only ones in your family. When they say statistically, you'd think it'd be more.
So, do you think it would have helped you if you'd come here earlier in your diagnosis?
Yes. Yeah.
How long were you in your illness before you actually came here?
Well, I suppose I was quite lucky, really, because I knew about this Mama Bees because I'd seen a leaflet. I don't know where I'd seen it. It must have been perhaps in the Macmillan unit or somewhere. I said to my husband, I'm definitely going to have a wig because I know my hair's going to come out. And he said, well, let's make an appointment. Well, that's another thing I put off and wish I hadn't. Yeah. Because as you said, when I got here and had a chat to Steve in this lovely calm room, he said, I wish I could persuade you ladies to come before you have chemo, because he just got hold of the back of my hair, put his fingers through it, and it came out in his hands. Yeah. And he said, I'm not going to even ask you. I'm going to shave it off, darling. Oh,
really?
Yeah. And I looked at my husband and he said, yes, I keep telling you it's got to go. You may as well have it shaved off before you worry that I've got a piece missing here and a piece missing there. And I thought, I didn't have time to think about it. But when it had gone, and I had a chemo cap, I was quite happy with that. And it was only a week before I actually got the wig he ordered. But he goes through all this lovely system of explaining or asking you questions like, what colour would you like your hair to be? Because mine's obviously silver. Salt and pepper. What colour would you like to be? And I said, well, before the pandemic, I used to dye it, and it was sort of a blondie colour. So with that, he's in this lovely cupboard here and showing me all sorts, tried them all on. But the first one we put on, both him and my husband said, right, that's you. It's not this one. It was another one. I have 2 weeks. That's you. And I felt like a different person just by having my hair. I thought, gosh, because my hair's always been my best asset. Yeah. I've never been a pretty one in the family. I've been the sporty one. And, there's lots of things that weren't good about me. But my hair's always been wonderful. And I felt so confident. I walked out of here on cloud 9. And I'm thinking,
so much different.
Yes. And I'm thinking,
I'm sure he'd be pleased to hear something like that, because it's just,
I'm always telling him, this is my sanctuary. I don't know what I'd do without this place.
It sounds like, though, that when you first went into your doctors, you didn't even want to tell your doctor, I think I might have a lump.
No, well,
now you're suddenly, you're on the podcast now, telling the whole world.
Yeah, but it was a really a part of my life that I wouldn't want to relive, obviously. But I really, really am so grateful that I didn't leave it too long, and I'm here to tell the tale.
Well, one of our other ladies said she was glad that cancer found her because it made her a different person as well.
That's right. It does. It makes you a lot more positive if you're that way inclined anyway. But as I was just saying to you and Sharon, I've now joined the groups that make the cushions. I've also joined the group at the My Wish Blanketeers. And I think I really want to give something back, but I love doing it. I mean, I'm a craft person anyway. I've always done crafts. But I'm thinking, I feel good because I'm doing something for somebody else. You know, I'm helping someone. And I hope people listening to this will make them realise you mustn't leave it. Do it now, get it over and done with, and then you can get on with the rest of your life.
Well, I think you two ladies are fantastic because, I mean, we, 10 o'clock this morning, we didn't know each other.
No.
You've come in here and shared in front of two blokes, which,
Talking about our breasts.
Yeah, I know. I just think, that's wonderful, ladies.
Yeah.
So,
I think the other thing is a lot of people don't fill their lives with anything when they're ill.
No, that's very
true. They have time to sit around and think.
Yes.
And that's where you get lower and lower and lower.
I've met so many people, though, throughout this process. I mean,
the journey.
Each other.
Yeah.
All the people I've met here at Mum Bees, that's the first kind of group that I started to go to.
Yeah.
Macmillan, I have to say, have been absolutely incredible.
Oh, wonderful people.
And I still get a phone call from one of the guys from Macmillan. I used to chat to the two ladies that are based in...
Not JP, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, he came on. We've interviewed him, haven't we?
He's great.
Yes, he's
and he still rings me every few weeks. So
he said that, funny enough, that he still keeps in contact with you.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
I just talk a lot.
He said he keeps in contact with the people that he's always with.
So they've been excellent. And the Hope course is designed for people who are mainly coming towards the end of their treatment, but might still have other things going on and are still struggling in certain ways. And it was wonderful. It gave... it was a real mixed group. We had men and women in the group, lots of different types of cancer, some people that were very similar to me, lots of different ages. It ranged from a lady who was only sort of just into her 40s to some other people that were about 80. A real big range, but we all got on so well. And it got to the end of the course. I mean, the course was great. It gives you a lot of techniques, I guess, things that you can try, things like mindfulness, teaching you that you should pace yourself, because we're all very much... A lot of us get into this boom and bust kind of cycle that when you're feeling okay, you kind of, or if you're working, you go for it. And then literally it's bust because you are then shattered.
Yes.
And however many times people tell me that that's what I should use.
Still can't do it.
Still can't do it. But I know what I should do. So there's been an awful lot of help and ideas. So it was talking amongst ourselves and also from the people that are running the course, who were both people that had previously had cancer. And they were volunteers for Macmillan, the ones that were doing my course.
What would you girls say to a lady who might be listening today, who's thinking, I should really go to the doctor?
Definitely go. Yes, go today if you can. Oh no, don't.
The thing is,
as
soon as you tell, I think this will be generally across every location.
Yes.
As soon as you say that what you think it is, that you found a lump, they might be saying to you that it's really difficult to get a GP's appointment at the moment. That won't be the case.
No,
you'll
be there immediately.
They will get you an appointment literally ASAP.
And also we should mention gentlemen as well, because
of course,
a certain percentage of gentlemen do get breast cancer in this country.
Yes, I actually came across one chap who'd written into the cushion group. I keep mentioning them, don't I? Yeah. And they'd given him a cushion and he was ecstatic about this cushion. He said, I don't believe it, but it's so lovely, just have it. And she said it's not just for women, men have breast cancer too, which they do. Well,
it's been lovely talking to you ladies, and I thank you very much for opening up completely to us.
I've got one more question.
Have you?
Yeah.
Martin,
we always ask our guests when we're talking to somebody about cancer, about the cancer bell. Did either of you ladies ring the cancer bell?
They don't do it in this area, apparently.
Don't they?
No.
They don't do it.
I asked, it was on my Hope class. Apparently they do it at Addenbrooke's.
Right.
So I think in Cambridgeshire they do.
Yeah, Dr. Patterson said that there wasn't one.
But there isn't one that they do, because I kind of was waiting for somebody to tell me that was going to happen, but it never did.
It didn't happen. But my sister-in-law did ring a bell for me. She said, you really deserve it, all you've been through with radiotherapy. And it was a wonderful feeling, because I hadn't even thought about the bell. And then I thought, yes, it's all done with. It's over with now. That's wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hate people saying it to me, you look so well. But ladies, you do look so well.
Yeah, I'm suffering with hot flushes.
Oh, don't worry about that. You can't see that on the radio.
Unfortunately, that is one of the side effects we have to put up with. But we're still here to tell the tale.
And
happy
going
with
strong.
it.
And there's life will never be
the same.
No, but
you've got to make the most of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
But you've got what we preach. You've got a positive mental attitude. And as one of our guests also said, that's free.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
that
is.
Free.
Preach.
You have to
When have you mentioned preach before? I've got
Thank-
one more question.
Go on. Yeah, go on.
When you got your diagnosis, did you, or were you tempted, or did you go onto Google?
It was the first thing someone told me not to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
right.
think I did immediately. And it's quite weird. I found, because you're obviously stuck at home a lot of the time, and there's loads and loads of things on. You're watching a lot more TV probably than you would have done normally.
Yeah.
And the number of programs that had things to do with cancer and specifically
adverts.
Yes.
It was as if suddenly it was like everyone, the Christmas episode of Call the Midwife, they had a breast cancer storyline.
They did.
Oh,
yes.
God.
Honestly. And to begin with, I kind of struggled. I deliberately didn't watch anything. I think at the point that I was told that after the operation that it hadn't spread, from that point, I was okay. Up until then, I was far more worried. From the point they said it hadn't spread,
exactly.
I then kind of relaxed a little bit and then I could start watching things and seeing stuff.
Okay.
But before that, I was like, no, it's
I still can't. I can't.
Oh, really?
It's-
I can appreciate that.
Yes.
As I say, having my brother went through similar to you.
Yeah.
And it was, we thought it was touch and go. But he's actually come out the other side more positive, but he's very, very slow.
Oh.
But he said again.
I'm very positive in life and happy. But it's just two things I can't do,
But yes, struggling. The lethargy is not really good.
Talk about it as much as people want to talk about it with me.
But
anyway,
you're looking very well.
Yeah, thank you.
You both look.
That normally means you're fat when people say you look well.
You're beaming. Smile says it all.
Oh, good.
Anyway, it was.
Well, he's had two heart attacks.
Oh, have you really?
Line.
Yes, I've had 2 heart attacks.
Well, you're very lucky to be with us too, then.
So, I count my blessings.
This is why we do this.
But I always
Patrick suggested it,
I always say to people that if you have in the back of your mind all the time that there's somebody worse off, always somebody worse off than yourself.
Yes.
That's my saying to my family.
How lucky you are.
Yes.
And there is, even amongst the people that I've met here. People
there are worse.
Going through a lot more.
I have to say, a few months ago, we had a lady here and we were warned at the Mum Beers group that she was in secondary cancer and she didn't have long to live. Mm-hmm. We were all geared up for this, and because I chat to anybody, but thinking, do I really know what to say to this lady? She walked in joking about every single thing possibly. She was laughing. And she was one of the happiest people you could wish to meet. And she said, I know I might not be here much longer, but she said, I've lived my life and I'm positive now. Mm-hmm. And so that's kept with me all the time. So live for today.
Yes.
We wake up in the mornings but I'm pleased I'm around.
Pleased you're here. Yes. Yeah. So. Me too.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Yep. Thank you very much for your story.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, so we're back at Steve and John, and we've got Sally from My Wish. We're up here with a social day, or social morning. So
it is. Well, social, yes. Most of the day, we're here till about 3:00.
Oh, okay.
So yes.
So
it's a full day.
What services do the ladies tap into today here?
Mama Bees is all about our Cancer Wellbeing Day. And it's Steve was to explain to you later on more about as to why we put the whole day together. But the ladies can come in, and thanks to our amazing volunteers, they can have oncology massage, reflexology, Reiki. They have their nails done, makeup and makeup tutorial, which is so important for them in case they've lost their eyebrows. And then they can see Steve or one of the other voluntary hairdressers, and then they can talk about wigs. They can talk to them as their hair is starting to grow back again post-treatment. And then most importantly, the ladies all talk to each other And as you can see today, we have lots of brand new ladies who are new on their cancer journey, as well as ones who are much further down the line. So they can all
it's funny,
support each
just
other.
Walking out there, I could see some that look sort of quite nervous to be there and all that. And then you got the two ladies who came in and a couple of others. Oh, hello, darling, they're very relaxed.
You'll often find that somebody comes the first time with a relative, it's usually a daughter or a mum or a best friend, and then the next time they'll be happy to come on their own.
Yeah.
It's just that first step through the doors, and it can be overwhelming because, as you can hear, it's very busy and noisy out there.
So it's closed for a normal hairdresser session?
Yes, so the hairdresser is always closed on a Monday.
Oh,
so
right.
it
So
was
this
the
is
perfect
completely
day
the whole...
so
I haven't been in. There's one room I've not been in, you see. So,
right, yes. So we close it today. We put the blinds down so the ladies have privacy.
You said that, didn't you?
Yeah.
We walked up, he says, close the blinds are down.
No, we keep the blinds down because obviously some of the ladies are more confident in their wigs, or we're doing wig washing. So if they're having their wig washed, they maybe obviously then have to take that off.
Yeah.
And some of them will wear a scarf and some of them don't. But it depends on how confident they are. So we try to make sure that we keep it very closed doors today and private.
Yeah, we've had two ladies in for an interview today, and they completely opened up to us. We're
Lovely.
two blokes they don't know.
No.
And it was really nice because their journeys and their stories will now be shared to other people who possibly thought, I'm not going to go to the doctors,
Yes,
and those ladies both said, didn't they?
Yeah.
You
must go.
make sure you go, and it's just so important. So
you go and get your mammogram and suddenly there's something there that you had no idea about.
I've learned so much today in those interviews that I didn't realise every 3 years.
But it isn't just breast cancer here. I mean, breast cancer treatment tends to be the one that makes them suffer with hair loss. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our ladies have breast cancer, but we do have lots of other cancers that come along here. So just in case anybody's listening and thinks, is it only for those who have lost their hair? It's not. It's open for anybody who is undergoing cancer treatments.
You mentioned a couple of things in your services there that I don't know what they are.
Okay.
Raking, did you say?
Reiki, I'm not entirely sure because
Is that what it is?
It's something. It's like healing hands. So he doesn't touch you, but I think it's the warmth and the vibrations. And it's all very relaxing.
It is. Yeah, it is. Doesn't quite touch you.
Don't quite touch you. It's all to do with the warmth and the vibrations.
Yeah.
And she doesn't always do that. The lady who does that tends to do reflexology more. Mm-hmm. And then women love it. They go, somebody's going to be feeling my feet, and then I can convince them to come in, and then they go, that was lovely.
Yeah.
Because it's just relaxing, and the ladies are so lovely. It's usually Natasha and Jeanette who come along and do that, and they're fab.
What else haven't you heard?
I can't remember what they all were, but that was the main.
It's these tablets.
Yes.
That's me statins
and
again.
the massage. So Natasha is trained in oncology massage, and that's really important because she needs to know how the lymph nodes are draining. You can't just come in and do vigorous sports massage on somebody who is undergoing cancer treatment. So she knows all of this and
I
is
learned
fully
that
trained.
the hard way because my daughter runs a beauty therapy place, and I said, can I have a massage?
Yeah.
And I was she gets different models in, for the girls to try and
she drew a blank when she chose you as a model.
And I found out the hard way on that one, because I said, no, just do it, because she made me aware of it.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'll be all right.
I keep hearing all this information about lymph nodes, and I don't really know what they are.
So lymph nodes are your lymphatic. I'm not a medical expert, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But your lymph nodes, I think that they put the fluid around your body and they help with toxins. And so, when you spoke to Sue and Tanya, did they mention a Love Your Nodes Centre Mag appeal that we did?
No,
not that one.
So when you're diagnosed with breast cancer, they would need to find your first lymph node to see whether or not the cancer has spread. And they wanted to do this. They did it with a blue dye that they inject in, and that would pull in the first lymph node, but it would also pull in the other lymph nodes. And so the surgeon would often take out too many. So we bought a Centre Mag machine. We did an appeal called Love Your Nodes for about 6 months, raised £25,000, and bought this machine. And my best example to say is it's like a metal detector. So when they put the blue dye in, they put a little vial of magnetic beads in at the same time.
Yeah.
And that can't go any further than the first lymph node.
Oh, okay.
And then they have a metal detector. And so the surgeon can be there. They can pinpoint, it will beep. So they know they're at the first node, and they can remove that. And by only removing having a minimal amount of nodes, it means you reduce the chance of lymphedema. And lymphedema is where your body can't get the fluid around you. So you'll end up having to wear maybe a really thick, tight dressing on your arm for the rest of your life. So you get over your cancer, but you now have lymphedema forever.
Right. Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've heard of stories where ladies have gone in for breast cancer and they've removed lots of lymph nodes just to be on the safe side.
Exactly. And they will sometimes have to remove more than one. If they know that it's definitely transferred further, they would have to look at it. But if they're really just seeing whether or not, actually it seems to just be a lump, has it gone further? That first lymph node is the vital one.
Right.
And if they can just cherry pick that one over a whole cluster of, and Mr. Coveney, who's the breast surgeon, said sometimes that's so difficult to do. So this has been huge, and that's allowed the surgery to be quicker, recovery to be quicker. They've been able to put on other clinics for other things. They've been able to put on clinics for prostate cancer checks. So it's had a whole host of benefits. And then we still buy the beads now. So the beads are £200 a person. And so that's something that we continue to support as a charity.
Yeah, I think they did touch on that when we were up at My Wish.
Yeah.
That they bought that machine.
Yes.
But,
that's right, yeah.
I'm really impressed with today. I never knew something like this could exist.
It's a special day, it
and
really
to see how people are chatting over there.
You've worked hard to get a fantastic group. It's such a, it's so sad that it's, for cancer.
Yes.
But, because those ladies would be sitting at home probably.
Absolutely. It started off something that as a charity, I think we were going to take it in turns, and then it's kind of become my baby along with Steve's, really. So, and the continuity is really important, that I come each month and I meet these ladies, and they often look different, which is, and we all give them name labels because they will look different. They might come here and they'll have long hair, and then the next time they've maybe got a wig on or a scarf on. But then as you see them coming out of their cancer treatment, and then they're getting well, like Anita, who you've just had, and it's just so quite fantastic to see them, and they've become my friends over the year.
And I can see that they would become friends, and amount of Christmas cards that are exchanged in there, I reckon.
But we even have, I run a WhatsApp group, so all the ladies are on the WhatsApp group, and then one of the ladies said, I've got some good news next time I come, so she's out there today, so we're still waiting to hear her good news. It's been too busy. Do you have
an agenda for the day then, or?
We asked the new ladies to come in early, and then the ladies who have been before, we asked them to come a bit later rather than the 10 o'clock, because it's quite overwhelming as you walk in the doors. It's noisy, and everybody seems to know each other, and when you're new and feeling vulnerable and it seems like everybody knows each other, that's not very nice. So we get the new ladies to come in early, and I put them as priority to make sure they're getting
That's a very good idea, that is.
It is difficult to break into a group, isn't it?
It is, exactly. That's why they often come with people, but so you before you know it, they're coming on their own. And then we kind of say you can have about 6 treatments, but we know we're not strict. And we know for some people have a different sort of diagnosis, that maybe they are terminal, albeit maybe a long-term terminal. So we obviously don't want to push anybody away. So everybody's always welcome, but they just have to be patient and realise that we are down to what therapists we have and who comes in the door. So, but everybody appreciates that, because they've all been here for the first time. But I've been here all these months, and I'd still have yet to have reflexology, my nails done or anything.
Really? So, God blimey.
I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with the spread of food you've got out there.
Yes, so that's very kind. Amazing. So My Wish pay for the food, and it's made by the catering team at the hospital. So that's incredible.
And the cake from next door.
And the cake is from Quality Eats, 2 doors down. Danny makes that. And then we have Julie, who you've already spoken to from Tesco's, who gives us lots of other things. And then we have, say, tea and coffee. And these ladies eat a lot. They get through. There won't be much left by the end of it.
Well, I had to drag Martin out of there.
Yeah, I know. That cake's incredible, doesn't it?
He's always, good job there weren't no donuts.
Yes. I think I come every time going, I'm not going to eat anything today. And then you look at the sandwiches, God, just have a couple of sandwiches.
Yeah. Everybody's been talking about Steve.
Yes.
He gives his time, and this is obviously his building,
he does.
is it?
But yes, so we have Sue, who's been making your cups of tea and coffee. She's incredible. She's here because she lost her sister and Steve had become very close to her. So she's invaluable, and I know when she's not here because there's so much washing up to do. So she does all the coffee and all the washing up. And we have lovely Jackie as well, who comes and helps us, and she does a bit of everything. And then we have Jeanette, who does the Reiki and the reflexology. Natasha, who does massage. We have another lady called Jeanette, who sometimes comes and does hair. And we have Becky, who does makeup, and Paula and Susie, who do nails. Paula is amazing. Paula is here every single time as well. So she's become really close, and she's been had cancer as well, so she knows what these ladies have gone through. So
the ladies who came in, they can't talk highly enough of Steve, can they?
No.
They think he's brilliant.
Or they do all love Steve.
When we was going to come up today, I thought, we're just going to come up and do, a little interview with a couple of people and all that. But I tell you what, this has been one of my favourite podcasts, it says,
really?
just talk to different people and all that. But thanks very much for letting us into your little world.
Yes.
No, thank you. Yes, the crazy world of Mama Bees.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, here we are in Steve and Tina's, what room do we call this, Steve?
This is our new hair room.
Your new hair room, yes. So
we try not to call it the wig room. We like to call it the new hair room.
Yeah. With Steve and Tina. Yeah. And are you brother and sister?
Yes, we are.
And you own the business together, or is it just...
Well, she's on the paperwork, yeah.
She's not on the name yet, is she?
No.
Definitely not.
We just want to, we thank you first of all for inviting us up here. And I'll tell you what, we didn't expect this when I came here last Monday to see you, and I thought, we'll just come turn up. So Pat says, what actually is it then? So I said, it's the hairdressers. I said, we just go up and we'll just interview a couple of people. But here we are, and there's loads of people getting all these different things done and all that food.
Yeah. It's like a coffee morning, isn't it? It's really relaxed.
I think it's become like, from my first idea of having it way back in the beginning, I've been doing this work
Which was when?
So I've been doing this work nearly 12 years. Wow. And I've had the salon 20 years next Christmas. So next December will be our 20th anniversary. Been doing the work for about 12 years. And when I started meeting ladies, I'd sort of meet somebody maybe in the morning and then meet another lady in the afternoon. And I'd want to connect them women. And they were going through the same journey or same cancer diagnosis. Just thought, I wish you could meet the lady I met this morning. And it actually all started because I watched a documentary on Sky called Mondays at Nadine's. Right. And it was about two young girls over in America that actually opened their salon on a Monday to ladies going through cancer treatment. And I remember sitting at home so inspired by this documentary, crying 1 minute, laughing my head off the next. Yeah. And I came in and spoke to the guy who used to manage my salon, Gareth, and said, look, I think I want to do something like that here. And then I contacted my Wish that I'd been working with for a lot of years, fundraising for them from the Macmillan unit. Yeah. I'm doing charity balls for them, Christmas and Winter Wonderland balls every couple of years.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
And so the Christmas balls was a thing that I just sort of fell into sort of doing. I think we did our first in 2007. Yeah. But yeah, going back to this documentary, I watched it, got inspired by it, and just thought, I want to do something like that. So spoke to my Wish, first of all, and they've known me well, and they're like, Steve, please don't put any of your own money into this. Let us work with you with it. Yeah. And obviously after losing our own beautiful mum 8 years ago to cancer, Brenda, Mama Bees, a lot of my friends I called my mum Mama. Her name was Brenda. A lot of my friends called her Mama Bee.
Oh, right.
And that's where Mama Bees came from.
Well, this episode is going to be, because I don't know if you're aware, there's a song by Shwaddy Waddy called A Night at Daddy G's.
Is there?
Yeah, because I'm a singer, you see, so I know. Okay. And anyway, I said to Pat, we'll call it Mama G's. I said, no, we've got to call it A Day at Mama G's. So that's what the title of it's going to be. So,
it's lovely, very lovely. So it's been way above anything I ever, even Sally says this to me. She said, I think when we all first started talking about it, no way did we ever believe that these days would become and be where they are today.
I didn't realise when I sat in here interviewing other people that, I thought you was open to the public in one room and you're having all these hairs done. It's everybody's associated with this same group.
Yeah, I want the salon shut because we don't want people just walking in here when we're exposing they've just lost their hair. Some of them turn up here, hair's falling out. We deal with all of this sort of stuff on the day. It's what I deal with in this room all the time. Yeah. But actually, Mama Bees, I just wanted it dedicated to those women. And the biggest thing we see, the food and all the pampering and all the side things. I know. I think the biggest thing thing is watching two women connect.
Tina's been up all night cooking that cake.
I wish she was, mate.
I don't think
You could barely get here on time.
I did notice she wasn't here when you was...
I do really get you on time. I really do.
And the other kids don't even turn up.
Which leads me to say, what is your role here, then?
Well, we don't know, really.
Make a guest appearance.
No, I'm really supportive to Steve, my brother, and obviously it's in memory of our mum, and I work here 2 days a week with Steve, and I absolutely love working with him and alongside him, and just seeing these women glow, and some come in and they're in such a real bad place, and I'll go out of here absolutely different. They'll go out like feeling so good about themselves, and that's all thanks to Steve.
It's the biggest thing, I think, when people think about hair loss. And I've been hairdressing 38 years in this town, and I had some fussy clients throughout the year. Sorry if any of you are listening, but I did have some really, really, really fussy clients. And if one thing I understood the most when I first went into this work, what hair was to women, and I think hair loss, through all of the women I meet, it doesn't matter what stage you're at. I mean, I meet women who come in to see me, they've got 3 months to live, and they just want a wig to make them feel great for the little time that they've got left. It's all about your image and what you look like. And a lot of people are feared for that from their husbands, their children. They don't want to scare their young children. And that is the bit I know I'm coming to my own. One, I've always been naturally empathetic. So I have such empathy with so many of these women that I meet. And some of them become such great friends to me, to be honest. It's not just, well, I always say to women when they first sit in this seat, I'm not a one-stop shop for a wig. So please don't think that I am. From the moment I meet you to the moment you tell me you're cancer-free, I'll look after you throughout this journey. And so we will tend to, Mama Bees is a great thing to that now, because once a month they can come here and bring their wigs and have them washed. And so there's no cost implications to anyone. This is a completely free day. But I think even Sally talked about this, without the volunteers that I have, Becky, Natasha, Paula, so many of them, Jeanette, I would never do this work without them. I couldn't battle here month in, month out on my own. And without them giving up their days, and some of these girls are working full time, so it's their day off a week, and they give it once a month to come here. Without them, this place wouldn't run. We just wouldn't be able to do it.
I've never heard of anything like this before. As I say, I've only had cancer for 2 years. I never got offered the chance of a wig. I wanted one.
Do you know, mate, in 12 years, I've never met a man yet. And I'd always say this for us. And actually, if there isn't guys out there, of course we'd help, and I'd do what I could for that situation. But most of us guys would just shave our head and put on a cap.
But there is a new product.
I should have come to see you. If I'd have known you, I was the lead singer of the Bay City Rollers.
Right, okay.
For 3 years.
Right.
Yeah, you could have given me his wig.
Oh, 100%, mate. There are some amazing new systems out for men.
Yeah, there is.
Amazing. There is some fantastic new systems. They're amazing.
I've looked at hair transplants and things, but then I thought, nah.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
It's quite unbelievable. I've got a guy, Gareth, who works here. Me and my sister Tina went out to Turkey and both had our teeth done quite a few years ago. And my mate Gareth, who runs the salon, used to run the salon for me. He was got himself as a bus driver. He hated his hair. He'd gone totally bald as a hairdresser and hated it. And we sent him out to Turkey for a hair transplant. My God, you wouldn't see it. You just wouldn't believe it. He's got full head of hair.
Wow.
He's got a little head of hair.
He's got
and
a hairline.
He was as thin as you on top. I swear to God, he had exactly.
Did you see that?
I nearly pointed to him there.
It went to you.
He was just like you. And I think they took 4,500 grafts from the back of his head and put it all to the top. It's amazing how it works, but could look incredible these days.
But anyway, everybody speaks so highly of you, mate.
Thank you.
They do. They love him here, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely, darling.
Yeah. So
he said, do you know, I feel like, I say it to most women I meet, and I don't just say it lightly, I seriously feel humbled by my work. I'm humbled every time. Sometimes I'll go home and I think, did I just have that day?
Yeah.
Did I just meet those women? Did you just make, and it's not just me that makes this impact. I make this impact in this room. My sisters are here with me, they make an impact in reception to these ladies. All these volunteers that I do have the impact on them. My wish does. There's plenty of people within this thing that I do, but it is
teamwork.
It's a massive teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
And out of such a tragedy for us, losing our mum. So we lost our mum within 12 weeks. She was 68. Wow. She was misdiagnosed. She'd been diagnosed with IBS and had all the symptoms of IBS. And she just had a massive pain one night. Yeah. And within 3 weeks, she'd had 3 tests done. And they found a massive tumour on the left-hand side of her bowel, and it was cancerous. And they said there was a chance they might not have been able to cure it. And we were given 2 to 4 years on treatment. And from the day she was diagnosed, we lost her within 12 weeks. So we classed ourselves as the 4 Musketeers. We were such a close family. We socialised together. My mum worked here in the salon, so she was here 3 times a week. She had her hair done here weekly, her nails done here every week. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, we were given this thing and she was just gone. It was, I'm lucky that my mum see the work I did. My mum's always proud of me being a hairdresser and me doing her hair all the years. But actually, when she see what I did here, not with Mama Bees at the time, because that wasn't obviously the thing, but, with my wig work, when I got onto the Macmillan unit, when she was admitting to there, most of the nurses I knew, we'd been fundraising them for a long time. And what they do as a unit and just how they look after people. Yeah. So out of such a tragedy for us, and it took me, I couldn't even talk about my mum for nearly 5 years. I could not speak her name, and anybody that even mentioned her to me, I'd have to leave the room and I fell apart. I could not cope. I didn't even think I was going to be able to carry on life here. But do you know, all these years on, it's such a great tribute to her, because in many ways I feel like I've brought her back alive.
Well, this is a great tribute to her.
I mean, when you walk in here, the atmosphere alone is uplifting.
It hits you.
Oh, isn't it?
It's an atmosphere that hits you nicely, a nice hit. Yeah.
And that's what we wanted to give. That's really what Steve wanted to give.
I think the difference is with here, when women come here, they're not waiting for results.
No.
You're not waiting to see an oncologist. You're not in a hospital environment. This is a completely different environment. And we are here just to pamper you. I always say to women, you don't have to talk about your cancer diagnosis if you don't want to, darling.
No.
But come, let us pamper you. Women walk out of here just feeling like $1 million. And that is just, but my biggest thing, and I always say it to the days, you watch around everybody being pampered, all my beautiful volunteers. But when I watch 2 women just connect with each other, and I hear someone go, "Oh my God, that happened to me," and then they're exchanging numbers and they're meeting out of here, that I think we've done our job.
Well, the 2 ladies we had interviewing in here, they seemed as if they just clicked, didn't they, together?
Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh, the ladies with the dark hair.
Yeah. That was Anita sat here.
And Anita,
Sharon.
Stamp.
Yeah,
Sharon.
That's right. Yeah.
The thing that seems a little bit obvious to me is that these ladies don't come here soon enough.
No,
they need to come here early.
Yeah, very much so.
To meet these people.
I say this a lot actually when it comes to hair issue. If you not every cancer you're going to lose your hair.
No.
But I always say the quicker you can see somebody like me, and I'm not just the only one. There's plenty of people within the England that are doing a wonderful job with wigs. That the quicker you see someone in a diagnosis, the quicker you can get that bit sort of sorted out. Because every time I meet a woman, even if it's right at the last minute, like, oh my God, I should come see you weeks ago. I've been dreading this appointment. Yeah. It's nowhere near as bad as what people think it's going to be. Yeah. Yeah. And I always say to women, I can't help with much, but believe you me, I will help with your hair. Yeah. And I'll get you the best hair I possibly can if you want it to look like you, or you want it bright pink, or you want it blue, or you want it whatever. We can get it exactly what you want. But the quicker I see someone when they're first diagnosed, the quicker we can get things moving and get the wigs ordered and, get them fitted so people can see what it's going to be like before they've lost their hair. Right. A lot of women wait until it's lost and then their thing is. So actually women that I see now, there was 2 ladies that came today who haven't lost their hair yet, haven't started chemo, but I said to them, come to Mama Bees, come, because you'll speak to some other women that are at the end and they've just been through the whole journey and might be able to tell you some bits and pieces that will help you along your journey.
I think that was the point I was trying to make, the social aspect of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Because when you get your first diagnosis, that's bang.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people we've found go straight onto Google and trying to find out
we did. We did exactly the same.
And of course, Google is not the place to go because that will tell you the wrong results for the wrong cancers. Yeah. Whereas if you came in here and sat down amongst a load of people who've been through it all, it must be such a relief.
I watch it with so many women, and women will say to me afterwards, I'd meet them after Mama Bees, and they go, oh, Steve, I met a lady at Mama Bees. Oh my God, she's helped me so much with my journey. I remember a lady a little while ago she was telling me she was in a very, very bad situation. I also remember her texting me one night after Mama Bees. She went, Steve, I just had to thank you personally today because I can't tell you what it's done for me. I'm very positive about what's happening with me, and it's not the best outcome. But I met a lady today that was in a worse situation than me and has totally inspired me. Yeah. And when I remember tears rolling down my face reading it, just thinking, oh my God, like she was in a bad situation as it was, to meet someone else that inspired her a little bit, to just keep her faith and keep, because it's all about hope. It's all about whatever situation you're in, it's about keeping the hope and the faith of, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to kick it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be
Positivity.
okay. Positivity,
Yeah.
you know.
Go on.
Well, yeah, we promote positive mental attitude in our podcast.
Yeah.
That's our driver, and that's a free drug that everybody
really
can tap
is,
into.
man.
Yeah.
It
You know, and that's
really
as
is.
important as all the other drugs that.
But
We're
everybody
taking
we seem to get on our interviews that they seem to have this, don't they?
They do, yeah.
They're positive. They're going to get through what they've got.
I've pulled so much strength from these women that I meet.
Yeah.
I feel there's a strength that takes over someone when they're diagnosed. I watched it in my own beautiful mother that I never thought in a million years she would have dealt with that the way she did.
No.
Yeah.
But she did. And she kept strong for all of us.
Yeah.
And there's a strength I've watched in every woman I meet, certainly when it's a bad case scenario, that something just takes over.
Yeah.
And I think that spiritually that happens. And from them women, I say it all the time, I get as much from them as I've given to them.
Right.
They've helped me with my grief. They've really pulled me through and given me strength. So it's sometimes a two-way thing in the work that you do. But
my wife is struggling with grief still. You know,
so
even now.
Grief is different in every person.
Yeah.
Every person it affects, and they deal with it differently. You know, I dealt with my grief very different to Steve.
I didn't know what it was until I lost my
No,
mum.
you
I didn't
don't
know
know
what
what
pain.
it is.
I
No.
never felt pain like that. I describe back now to. I just thought I was going to stop breathing.
Yeah.
I'd never experienced pain like it.
Well, when you say like you live, breathe, and and with your mum and in here, and that's a huge big chunk missing in your life.
I think that was the bit for us we struggled
massive.
with for so long, finding our way forward without her.
Yeah.
We can row, we can fight sometimes.
Brought us closer.
It's brought us closer.
Yeah.
We're closer than we've ever been in so many ways.
Yeah.
But
We've always been close.
It was a struggle.
But it was hard at the beginning. We drifted,
struggle.
but we all came back together even stronger.
It's strange because I lost my dad when I was 18, and that was such a shock.
Yeah.
And I was angry that things were still going on as normal. Turned the TV on.
It was like
You turn the TV on and that would just
I
be...
wanted everything to stop. And I think, it's what I found here. I'd have this, so we've had this nearly 20 years next year, it'll be 8 years. So I'd had the salon 12 years when I lost mum.
Yeah.
And I couldn't walk in here for nearly 6 months. I remember the first time I walked in here, about a month after it happened, I just walked straight out again because nothing had changed. Everything was just going on as it normally did. All the clients were still in here. My manager Gareth was running
mum.
Except my mum.
Yeah.
And it was like, hold on a minute, I've lost my mum. Will you just stop? I wanted the live world to stop. Stop around me. It just didn't. Life just went on. And I felt like I was stuck in this no man's land for so long. I mean, looking back, I feel, and I think that with anybody who goes through grief, you can feel so dark that you just never see a way out of that. And when people used to say to me, you will find your way still, I used to think, are you joking? I'm never going to get past this. I'll never get over. She was the love of my life. I will never get over losing her. But you find a way to go forward. You do somehow. It's a different way forward, but you find a way to go forward.
And there's not just one pill that can do that.
No.
You have to learn
the journey.
That's right. Yeah.
Like along that.
Cool.
And everyone deals with it differently,
They
as
really
you say.
do.
Yeah.
I found my dad died of a heart attack. And I always felt angry when I saw comedians and people say, "Oh, I'm having a heart attack." And I thought, you're not having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I know what a heart attack is.
Totally.
And you feel the same when, that's part of life, in soaps and things, people have these illnesses and play them out.
This is it. People often say,
sometimes
often say, don't they? Oh, I know how you feel.
Yeah.
I hated that. So I used to think, oh my God, how do you know how I feel? Like, no one loved my mum the way I loved her. How do you know how I feel? Like, my grief is different to yours. And to looking back, I always remember a woman in the beginning saying to me, "Oh, Steve, I do know how you feel, darling. I lost my cat last week."
What?
Well, honestly, I probably wanted to rip her head off at the time. Just thinking, are you comparing the loss of your cat to my mother? But actually, when I look back now,
That is her baby.
that might have been her baby. That might have, she might not have had any family. And grief is about, it's love.
Yeah.
It's how much you love somebody. It doesn't matter if that's
much you grieve.
a person or a dog or whatever. It's love. And
I think also you saying about then, but after a while you now thought about this lady.
100%.
I'm the same. Before I was terrible. The slightest thing I'd go off the, and now I do think about things more than I've ever done.
Yes, me too.
And
It's good because it's time you've come to accept what's going on.
There has to be an acceptance.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
have
think what's
to,
happened, and I don't think I accepted it for so long.
My wife cried her eyes out when we was told about my cancer. I didn't. I just asked a million questions.
It's always the family.
And I was asked this question, that question, and I had to sort of cuddle as we went out. And I felt like it was someone else I was talking about.
No, totally.
It weren't me.
Yeah.
But,
he was with Mum,
I was the only one with my mother.
Yeah, he was with Mum.
And do you know, so many women have come in here and said to me, "Oh, Steve, I collapsed, or I passed out, or I felt like I'd been punched in the gut." I started to choke. Like, I was so shocked at what he said.
Yeah.
And I've been doing the work for nearly 5 years before I lost Mum. 5 years before I lost Mum. And it was the last thing in the world I thought he was going to say. Yeah. I thought my mum had got Crohn's or colitis. They were the two things. Because she'd been diagnosed with IBS. I was convinced it was Crohn's. And we were in a room with a bowel disease poster on the wall. So I was adamant it was that. And it was a bowel specialist. It wasn't a cancer specialist. We were themed to see. And then when he said, "We found a large tumour and this is cancerous," I literally felt like somebody put a golf ball down my throat. And I couldn't speak. I literally started to choke. And I remember the woman who was like a walking angel to us, a beautiful lady called Maggie, who's now retired from the hospital. She just looked at me and went, "Steve, do you need to leave the room for a moment?" And I just remember falling to my knees. And the first thing I screamed was, "Oh my God, my sisters. Like, what? You can't let her die. Like, with this, we've got a lot of things." Yeah. And I think back to that moment. Yeah. I looked at him, I went, "You can't let her die. You've got to keep her here." I think, oh my God, how many people have said that to that poor man, and made him in that situation? He said, "Look, I'll do my best by your mum, But it was shocking. And also women coming here now and they're like, "Oh, Steve, my life is just revolved around it." It does. Yeah. Your life blows up to cancer. And I think once you get that diagnosis, anybody that's on that, it's just surrounding that. And we lived and breathed it for 12 weeks. Yeah. But looking back, I'm so glad we didn't know it was going to be as quick as what it was with our mum. We didn't, nor did she. We kept hope right until the day she died. Yeah. Like, that never left us.
I think we all would, wouldn't we? You know?
100%, yeah.
I held my mum's hand until the moment she died,
me too. So did I, Yeah.
Me
too. But I don't suggest anybody has a critical illness or anything like that. But as an experience, once you go through one, it makes you look at the whole world different.
Oh God,
material possessions and things.
100%.
Material, everything's just not doesn't matter.
Really
doesn't matter. It's material.
It's about, I think if you've got your health, you've got everything.
Yeah.
And if you have love in your life, like if you have love in your life, and whatever that may be.
And love is like not just a partner.
No, it's not.
Family.
You know, surrounded by love. I don't have a partner in my life, but I'm surrounded by it. I have a beautiful family, amazing close friends to me, fantastic clients that have been so loyal to me for so many years. Like, it's those people you just pull from. Anything forward with.
Well, you've got fantastic business here, and as I say, what you're doing for everybody from who's suffering. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
That's unbelievable.
And can I just say, we do do a charity ball every 2 years, and next year's our big one, which is our 20 year.
Well, yeah.
And we're going to do it with.
So the half of the money next year will go to. So it'll be the 1st of December, first Saturday in December 2025. The half of the money, I've just taken on the Princess's Trust contract. Right. So I now deal with little kids going through cancer treatment, and some of that work's been really, really sad for me. But I'm really close to the people at the charity now and got really, really well then. So we're going to do half of the money to them, and half of the money will go to Mum and Bees or the cancer unit at the West Southwark Hospital. But we're going to have 400 guests at this, because on the Friday night it will be my 20th anniversary of opening the Salon, and on the Saturday it will be the charity ball.
Oh, wow.
So if there's anyone out there who would like to sponsor us in any way,
that would be great.
That would be
for big sponsors.
And how would they get in touch?
Yeah.
Through the Salon.
Through the Salon.
Just call the Salon.
You never know who's listening to this.
A good cause.
We'll link that on our website.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for
absolute pleasure.
I know you're a busy man, because
I've got to get back in there.
Ages.
It's taking me ages to get here.
No, you're down. Yeah, that's been brilliant.
I've got 2 more ladies to do, so yeah.
It was knocking off time once we've interviewed you.
I've got 2 more ladies doing, then I'm done.
Excellent.
Well, Tina,
thank you,
and
thank you
so
very
much.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, I tell you what went on in that building is unbelievable, and it's all done by volunteers as well, Pat. I take my hat off to them all, because they've given us cake, they've given us more cake, they've given us chocolate biscuits, they've given us more chocolate biscuits, and a few sarnies as well.
Yeah, I don't think the buffet is the item for discussion here, Martin. No. I know you always tend to sort of head towards that direction.
I'm telling you about the I'm telling everybody about the hospitality they've given us.
I think what I've seen and what I've heard today has been totally eye-opening and uplifting.
We've learnt a lot.
Yes.
Haven't we? Yeah. Especially when we interviewed the two ladies, I learnt a lot there. So
I think that's the message. And I think, it's quite a bit daunting when you walk in and see all these ladies here, if you're new, are here for the first time today as well.
And they're just as nervous as what you are. So if you do fit here in one of these groups, please join it, because it's just fantastic.
But I think we all end up on Steve. Without him, this group would not exist.
No.
And his devotion and what he provides these ladies, and as you can hear from the ladies that we've talked to today,
they love
absolutely
adore him.
Adore him. So it's a bit humbling, really, but I think we've learned a lot, haven't we?
Yeah,
we have to.
And it's new for us to come on the road.
Yes,
on the road.
Trying out our new mobile system for the first time.
A day at Mumma B's.
If you have heard some background noise, then that's just part of the day.
Yeah,
but
part of the fun.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did doing it.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
Take care. Bye,
everyone.
Bye.